In the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Compassionate. We certainly admire the intelligence of those who have attracted upon them so much wealth. But when numbers start lacking sense, it can only be questioned. How did we reach such an understanding of money, its intrinsic value, if any, and more broadly, how is wealth measured and distributed? Such criticism of wealth models drove contestation movements across the globe and attempts to change the way we account and create wealth. And more fundamentally, how do we determine fair value and reduce gambling? One of these attempts is the rise of the so-called cryptocurrencies. The idea of blockchain from its inception was novel. No double spending, one ledger for work being performed. And by decentralizing such technology, it brought a different dimension. It brought cross-border reliability without a middleman. The fallacy started when using the term currency in cryptocurrency rather than digital asset, piece of art or collection item. It seems it has brought together people holding legit requests with people who hate the paper printing machine, with people who needed to validate their incomes, and with people who love throwing money to mining machines in a gesture that seems very much like speculation with an extra carbon footprint the size of a country like New Zealand. Looks to me like Bernard Mandeville model. Individual vices would make for collective virtue to bypass the greedy middleman. Currencies are like water currents. They are defined by the flow of elements of various granularity and nature. These are quantities and types of movements, involving transactions of different sizes and natures over time. The so-called cryptocurrencies are describing a flow, right? But not a liquid one. Diamonds are formed at depths of about 160 kilometers. With a strong crystalline arrangement of carbon, magma eruptions may blast onto the surface some of these precious stones or bring them within reach in the form of pipes for the miners. That is as far as the miners' aphorism goes. Bitcoins can be mined and are quantitatively limited. The value of each Bitcoin can represent is virtually limitless. Only your computing power for mining is your limit. And with quantum reality, you will mine everything that is to mine. But beyond the beauty of technology prowess, NFTs, as warranted tokens, are much more of a real-life instrument. Testing crypto systems with the day-to-day reality, rather than in a game or a virtual environment, is an opportunity to identify abnormalities and move towards really affecting the livelihood of millions, if not billions of people. Maybe a good reason for Bitcoin founders to say anonymous. To properly model an economy, it is right to question the vector that is used, the currency. But maybe we should question the starting point too, the very method we count by. In Islamic traditions and in the Quran, two currencies are presented: dinars, historically associated with gold, and dirhams, generally associated with silver. The Quran also states a third one for large sums. They later sold him for a cheap price, just a few silver coins, dirhams, only wanting to get rid of him. The young Joseph, peace be upon him, is being sold for some dirhams in such a flawed valuation, demonstrating what a dirham is not: a measure of value and an exchange mean. There are among the people of the book who, if entrusted with a stack of gold, will readily return it. Yet there are others who, if entrusted with a single coin, a dinar, will not repay it unless you constantly demand it. This is because they say we are not accountable for exploiting the Gentiles, and so they attribute lies to Allah knowingly. This verse emphasizes a store of value and a deferred transaction, demonstrating again what a dinar is not. This fits well the common definition of money as not only a medium of exchange and a standard of deferred payment, but as importantly a measure of value and a store of value. And by using bayan, it seems Allah teaches us the notion of counting using two celestial elements. The Quran states that the sun and the moon move relatively by a precise calculation, and the stars and trees continuously return, and the heaven was raised and the balance was imposed. In Arabic, the words we have are about balance, cycle, measure, and counting, which are fundamental for managing a household. Sun is large and broad in scope. It influences planets, while moon is specific and smaller in scope. From Earth's perspective, sun and moon seem close in size, but they do affect our reality in very different ways. Golden as the sun and silvery as the moon. Those were materializations for dinar and dirham. Gold shines and is durable, silver is reflective and malleable. But beyond these similarities between two celestial bodies and two elements of the periodic table, the Quran doesn't seem to make any link between the precious metals and the two currencies. Dinar is composed from two words, din and nar. Din is sometimes translated as religion, but the word religion being too broad, it doesn't reflect the word in Arabic. Din letters mean a way into your fishnet. It is something you will hold, an account of what you do, a transactions ledger. The word dain, very close to the word deen, with one vowel changed, is a word for loan, which is also a transaction, meaning I owe you. But dain is not deen. Nar is a word for fire, an indicator to be seen, meaning there is an activity nearby. Therefore, dinar is directly related to day transactions or activities. If fire is involved, like a nuclear fusion on the sun, it assembles elements to produce new elements. On the other hand, dirham can be decomposed with dir and ham, where dir are the first and last letters of dinar, a dal and a ra, indicating that dinar is its starting point, and ham generally means importance and elevation. The letter ha, like the moon, presents a specified degree, a degree of unknown to it. And the letter mim at the end indicates a defined unit. Dirham is most useful in night activities and transactions. Night is anything that is resting, like would be patents, storable goods, designs, plans, machines. Like the moon, dirhams are meant to reflect present or past dinars transactions and to act upon future events. Regardless of day or night, the moon allows us to account and to follow an advancement, to group in months and years differently from the sun. But at the end, it's all about Earth's core stability and cycles. That's our perspective. It is the house we have been given. A strong contrast will appear when comparing words from the Quran associated with days and words associated with night. What is in between, the rolling of night over day and the rolling of day over night, are Earth's rotation. The word nahar, day, is mentioned 57 times, while the word layl, night, is mentioned 92 times. And they are mentioned together 50 times. Those are also positions in the Tanzil, 114 surahs. Surah Al-Hadid, Iron 57 with 29 verses, and Surah Al-Layl, the night, number 92 with 21 verses. If we look only at the Quran, the 57 occurrences of the word Nahar added to the 54 occurrences of the word Naharun make for 111. Surah position 54 is Surah Al-Qamar, the moon, with 55 verses. And Surah position 19 is Surah Maryam with 98 verses. And while the moon is only half of the time above Earth's dark side, half of 54 is 27, and those are the mentions of the word moon in the Quran. And also because it takes the moon 27.3 days to rotate around its axis. Beyond the 111, the iron core will repel. Those are two other mentions in the Quran for the word inhar, and two surahs, Al-Falaq and An-Nas. Day transactions use preferably dinars. Day activities are creative, managerial in nature, one-of-a-sort work performed. River activities are processed activities involving a defined path. Night transactions should use only dirhams. Night activities involve everything related to storage, transfer, or automatisms. And transition zones use a mix of both. Now imagine using weights and categories on a large circle chart with indexes and a 66-44 Quranic comb. It would be a different accounting approach, quantifying, converting, or valuing everything. Isn't there everything in the book? In Surah Al-Rahman, celestial elements and the trees on our planet are directly related to well-balanced and stabilized Earth's higher atmosphere. Winds descending, uprising, frictioning, and moving in cycles will transport flows of water across the globe. The Tanzil of the Quran that has been brought down from the heavens in right measures could be an inspiration for monetary policy. Number 3 is for transferring from the heavens to the earth. By using a triangular frame that puts together the 111 surahs of the Quran, we can see a different arrangement of the book. Grouping every 3 surahs, we end up with 37 smaller triangles that may fall in the following order. Contrary to gold or silver, water is transparent and its density depends on heat. Only the fruits on the different trees are of different colors. Contracts are paths to a source, ayn in Arabic. It is the first letter of aqd. And to properly weight and value, you need to link it to the proper standard. The word wazn, the weight in Arabic, starts with waw al rabt. Let us bind to something really durable.